ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय
सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः Good morning. How are you all? Doing well? So, rain trouble. It's little more the trouble, is less also trouble. Same is the case with heat also. Our Malaysia Swami came via Delhi. 2 days back he was in Delhi. He was telling Delhi it was boiling, 45 degrees centigrade. He says so much of perspiration. Here we are, suffering from excess rain. So here, after saying every mantra, we pronounce Shanti, Shanti, Shanti thrice. Why do we say Shanti thrice? Will it not do if we say once? There is a reason. Every embodied creature, every being, not just human beings, anything that has a physical body, that has a psychological structure, mind. Animals also, they have got mind, not as refined as our mind. The cerebral capacity is not as good as ours, as evolved as ours. But they also have mind, they also suffer. So anything that has a physical body and anything that has a psychological body, namely the mind, suffering is inevitable. So people have classified this suffering into 3 classes. The first kind of suffering is adhyatmika suffering, suffering that comes to the individuals because of his own accord or her own accord. Okay? If there is a fever in us, that is a suffering only for us, right? No extraneous agency is involved here, at least in the sense that it is a suffering that comes from within. Most of the times it is this only, adhyatmika suffering. We don't know how to respond and react to the situation, so suffering comes because of our understanding of the situation. Yesterday, somebody came. She was telling me, Swamiji, I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. You should not be. Okay? By sensitive means every situation she takes trouble. Not that the situation is bad, because she is so sensitive. I mean, it's not a qualification. Hmm. If you are, don't be hypersensitive. If you are hypersensitive, every minute you suffer in this world. We need to be sensitive, but you should not be hypersensitive. No, I am so sensitive. Everybody should treat me, carefully. Means so it's not possible. All kinds of people are there in the world. You should change the subject, not the world. World, there are thousands of people are there. How many people you will change? So you have to affect the change here. No, I'm very sensitive, so I suffer more in life. So don't be sensitive. That's all. What is the solution? Don't be that sensitive. So this is adhyatmic suffering, suffering that comes on our own accord. Right? Our own mind brings us suffering. Most of the time, that is the only suffering we have. What else? Who else actually is making you suffer? Second kind of suffering. So the first shanti is for freedom from this kind of suffering, adhyatmika. The second kind of suffering is adi bhautika suffering, suffering that comes to us from others. You are all right, physically, mentally, you are keeping very good health. Somebody very close to you is suffering. Maybe your brother, sister, mother, father. Their suffering becomes our suffering because they are related to us, they are close to us. Somebody who is on the streets, suppose it's not suffering for us. అంతే కదా, మన కుటుంబంలో ఎవరన్నా బాధపడుతుంటే మనకు బాధ అవుతుంది. రోడ్డు మీద ఎవరో అనామకుడు మనకు సంబంధం లేనివాడు బాధపడితే మనకేం బాధ అవుతుంది కదా. అలా బాధ అవ్వాలంటే మనకు వివేకానందుడు, బుద్ధుడు లాంటి హార్ట్ ఉండాలి. ఓకే, యూ హావ్ టు ఇవాల్వ్ టు సచ్ అన్ ఎక్స్టెంట్ యాక్చువల్లీ. దే వుడ్ ఫెయిల్ దిస్, టేక్ ది సఫరింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్. Then you will become prophet. You will become a saint, a sage. You are not evolved to that level, at least. If somebody who is connected to us, who is our immediate family member, if he or she gets affected because of any disease or any other suffering that happens to them, that brings suffering to us also. This is actually second, adi bhautika suffering. Not only the people who are around us, who are related to us, but also suffering that comes to us through other creatures. Could be wild animals, could be snakes, could be scorpions, could be bed bugs, could be mosquitoes. Mosquitoes also a great source of suffering. Cities, we don't suffer because of snakes or scorpions, but mosquito is a great threat to us, right? Now this is a season now. So dengue, this fever, that fever, all kinds of fevers. Small, tiny creature, but so much of suffering it inflicts. 1 week, you have to take a rest. So this is adi bhautika suffering, suffering that comes from causes outside ourselves. There is some outside agent which is actually causing suffering to us. This is adi bhautika suffering. The third kind of suffering is not because of creatures. The suffering is due to elements. Could be the sun, could be wind, could be rain, could be an earthquake. The elements they are called. The suffering that comes through these elements. Today now actually we suffer because of rain. People in Delhi are suffering the heat. So the suffering that comes to us through elements is called adi daivika suffering. So we say shanti thrice, peace, salam, 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 3 times. Why? We want to be removed from these kinds of suffering. To become free from these 3 kinds of suffering, we say peace, peace, peace thrice. The suffering comes to every embodied creature, I am telling, not just to human beings. At least we, if we feel cold, actually we can put on a sweater. You can close your windows and stay. With animals, there is no such protection is available. If we become sick, we go to doctor and we take medicines. For animals, no such protection is available. No hospitals are there for them, right? But of course, God has given His own protection to the animals. They do suffer. Just as we suffer, they also suffer, maybe to a lesser degree. So when you say shanti, shanti, shanti thrice, you are seeking relief from these 3 kinds of suffering from Almighty the Lord. We are not just saying it for ourselves. We are not just saying for our immediate family members. We are saying this for the entire creation. Let there be peace in the world. Let all the creatures, let all the beings be free from all kinds of suffering. Basically, these 3 kinds. Beautiful classification they have done. How many ways we suffer, human beings suffer? What are the agencies involved in this? So this is first is only our own makeup. Suffering is our own makeup. our own psychological suffering, emotional suffering. Nobody outside is responsible for that. That is adhyatmika suffering. Second is adibhautika, suffering that comes through other creatures and other beings, living creatures. So this third is adidaivika, suffering that comes to us from elements like this, wind, rain, sun. So let me be free from these three kinds of suffering, O Lord. This is the prayer that we are telling every day. When we say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May I be relieved from these kinds of suffering. Now, if you go to Middle East, they greet each other saying salam, peace. It's so important. You may have all the things under the world, all the comforts, all the luxuries, all the material goods, but peace is not there. You cannot even enjoy your meal. It is so important. Without peace, there cannot be happiness. Ashantasya kutas sukham. For a man who is peaceless, where is happiness? You cannot have. So it's very important that you maintain a tranquil mind, a calm mind, a peaceful mind. We are struggling. Everybody wants peace, right? That's our longing. But are we able to keep our mind in that tranquil state and calm state? Why we are not able to do it? Because the mind is very subtle to deal with. మనస్సు అనేటువంటిది చాలా సూక్ష్మమైనది కాబట్టి దాన్ని హ్యాండిల్ చేయడం మనకు కష్టమవుతుంది. ఈవెన్ టు హ్యావ్ ప్రజెన్స్ ఆఫ్ మైండ్ 1.5 hours in the classroom to pay attention to your teacher's teaching is no joke. You have to ensure that your mind is focused on the teaching. Mind here and there, it goes away. Physically, we are present, mentally absent. Today, attention deficiency is the worldwide. Only for 15-20 minutes, we pay attention afterwards. Physically, we are there, mentally, we are absent. So the learning process gets delayed because of that. So to rivet our attention on the teacher, okay, it requires a certain degree of practice. That has to be practiced. And that's why you're praying to the Lord. May I have the peace. If you have peace, you'll be able to concentrate better on your teaching so that you will be observing better. So these are all the things actually. A calm mind, tranquil mind is a necessary prerequisite for acquiring knowledge, Vivekananda says. ఒక ప్రశాంతమైన మనస్సు ఉన్నప్పుడే జ్ఞాన సముపార్జన సాధ్యమవుతుంది. You can acquire knowledge only when your mind is calm and peaceful and free from all kinds of turmoil. Thank you. Nice day.